The time has come. Now, it has been over 2.5 years since Anderson Paak's last album, Ventura, and over 5 whole years since Bruno Mars' last album, 24 Karat Magic. So it's about time that either of them come out with an album, and luckily for us, they came out with an album together. As you know, their duo name is called Silk Sonic, and this duo was formed a couple years ago, back during the 24 Karat Magic World Tour. That's when Bruno booked Anderson Paak and the Three Nationals as his opening act for the European leg of the tour. So they hit it off from there and began making music on tour, and now they are practically best friends. Just by watching interviews of both of them together, you can tell how well they get along. Like, their chemistry is like, they're actual people. It's so raw and candid for artists that big. They feel more like actual friends than collaborators, which is the vibe you want to give off. But putting that aside, this is Bruno's first joint album ever. All his other albums have been solo albums. However, this is not Anderson Paak's first joint album. 5 years ago, he teamed up with producer Knowledge to come up with the album Yes Lord. Yes Lord. Yes Loud. It sounds very weird when I say it, but you know what I mean. It's one of Anderson's catchphrases. And they released it under the duo name No Worries, with the first O replaced by an X. My favorite track of that album is called Scared Money. It's really nice. It gives a 80s supermarket vibe. And it was also released just a month before 24 Karat Magic came out. But Silk Sonic as a duo just works. I was a little skeptical when Silk Sonic was first announced back in March, because I know both Bruno and Anderson's music pretty well. And while they do share elements in their music, like elements that overlap, I wasn't able to imagine a proper song with both of them together. Because when it comes to Bruno and collaborations, I'm not usually the biggest fans of them. Like his 2 songs with Cardi B, I was not the biggest fans of. And that song with Gucci Mane, Wake Up in the Sky, I was not a big fan of that at all. But when Leave the Door Open came out, that song was good. I had it on repeat for the longest time, and then their second single, Skate, came out, and it was clear from that point on what kind of vibe they wanted to put out. And then when Smoking Out the Window came out last week, I had that song on repeat for the past week. I made a video about it here. My first reaction to it. They just pull off the 70s vibe really well. And so with all that said, I have the album here ready to listen for the very first time from top to bottom, and we'll see if all the hype was worth it. Let's go. I am ready to rumble. So, where is it? An Evening with Silk Sonic. Now, they've been calling this album the ultimate set list of doom, I think it was. So let's see if it lives up to its name. Oh, and before we start, I have heard some of these songs. For example, I've heard Silk Sonic Intro, I've heard Leave the Door Open, I've heard Smoking Out the Window, and Skate, which is 4 of the 9 tracks if you include the intro track, which I would argue that you should. And that's like almost half of the album, and it kind of sucks that I've listened to almost half of it, but whatever. I'll let that go. I do wish they had more songs though, but let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Who y'all came to see tonight? Who gon' get the ladies feeling something? Ooh, we gon' lock this groove in tight. Yeah,
Lock it in there.
don't have us lock this groove down for nothing.
Let down. What you came to see.
Of the universe.
I love that robotic part in the background. Silk Sonic. Okay, so Silk Sonic intro. I love it. It's such a good intro. The beginning of the song sets it up for a mood, and then all of a sudden you're transported into this world where it's, what's the word? Like kind of trippy in a way. Like you feel like you're entering a trip when you start hearing Bootsy Collins saying, "It is I, Blaster of the Universe. Blaster of the Universe." Ooh. Now, having an intro song in an album is not a new concept, but I feel like this one masters it really well. It sets the stage of what's about to come. However, this track was released with Leave the Door Open, and I kind of wish that they left it for the full album release, because it's for the album. But yeah, I really like that song. And the next song, Leave the Door Open. Wait, I want to hear it transition from the intro into Leave the Door Open. Silk Sonic. Shut your trap. Sip, sip. Drip, drip. Look too good. Smooth like a newborn. I'ma leave the door open. Purple haze. Ooh. I love that line. If you're hungry, I got fillets. I love how live this sounds. It sounds like it's a natural performance. La la la. I love this part. It just switches up the mood. to see you, baby. And Anderson Paak in the background really complements this part really well. The key change really works here. Tell me that you're coming through. Bruno Mars has a really, really strong voice. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love the whoa, 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 whoa. La, 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 la. That was very strong from Anderson. You would never expect him to say something like that. That part, girl, I'm here just waiting for you. Come on over, I'll adore you. It's a nice closer. It's a nice wrapping up of the song. And the fade out that ended the song is not something you hear a lot these days. It was very common in the 80s, 90s, 70s, which is very appropriate because this song straight up sounded like it came out of the 70s. Yeah, I mean, I've known this song for a while now. It's been out for 8 months, which is crazy. 8 months. And the album is only coming out now. But I love this song, as you can tell. It's super high quality and sounds like it's from the 70s but remastered in a way that is still modern. And they pulled it off in a way where, you know how many songs try to sound like they're coming from a certain era, but that's all the song is. Something that sounds like an era. This one straight up sounds like it was made in the 70s with, you know, higher quality recording equipment. It was just produced so well, mastered really well. The vocals sounded nice and not overly filtered. And as the first proper track of this album, you start to get the idea of who Silk Sonic is. Like, for example, they're not overly serious. But, you know, it's Anderson Paak, so you kind of have to expect that. That's basically his brand, not being that serious. But with lines like, but if you're hungry, girl, I got fillets, ooh, ooh. You know, that's pretty funny. And like, on regular Bruno Mars songs, you don't hear anything like that. That's clearly Anderson's influence on their songwriting, with Bruno's mastery on production as well as the other producers on these tracks. And the video to this was also super high quality and very 70s in the sense that everything was brown. Like, it reminded me a lot of the Jackson 5 and, you know, their weird baggy suits. Yeah, this was a really, really good song, and it sets it up for the rest of the album. So that was Leave the Door Open. Next, we have Fly As Me. Now, I don't know what that means. Interesting wording, Fly As Me. But this is the first track of this album that I have yet to hear. So let's get into it.
1, 2, make you wanna.
Ooh. Ooh.
Okay. Now, have you ever been with a player? Take you downtown when they treat me like the mayor. Look here, I don't ask for much. With somebody as fly as me.
Oh, that's what it means. Self-loaded egos into play. Oh, the horns in the background sounds really nice.
I'm trying to boo you up like it's the Apollo.
The Apollo. I really like the background vocals on this. I don't know who's singing it though. Yeah, I thought those runs. Man, fly. Ooh, the horns. Oh. Oh. Wow. I like the breakdown in this part. Ooh, I like how they're repeating this. It's bringing tension to the track. Fly As Me. Wowza. That was unexpected. I did not expect that genre, which I cannot put my finger on, to ever be pulled off by Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak, either of them. The intro part of this song definitely gave me very 70s vibes, as all the other songs in this album have so far. But the isolated, what was it, guitar? That, what genre is that? I know that that's a specific type of music, but I don't know what it is. But it's interesting because the way the song sounded was paired with a more modern take on rap. Not really, but it reminded me a lot of Megan Thee Stallion, her type of music, because she kind of raps like that in the way that Anderson did, enunciating words with very strong, you know, vowels and stuff. And what I found interesting on this track in particular is that you barely hear Bruno in this. Like, I don't even know if his voice was prominent in the chorus itself. Because I know I definitely heard Anderson's voice and a couple of background singers' voice. You know, background singers who I don't know who. As well as background singers throughout the pre-chorus as well. But I barely hear Bruno, which is not a bad thing. I think Anderson pulled this off like really, really well. But I point this out because I'm finding the flexibility between both of them pretty interesting. So yeah, that was just something I wanted to point out. And yeah, Fly As Me. Just the message of the song. I want somebody to be as fly as me. Now I think about it, it's pretty funny. I thought that Fly As Me was gonna be a ballad. Because originally I read it as Fly With Me. And I thought that was gonna be some cheesy piano type song. But it took a turn as soon as I pressed play. Which is why I found it so unexpected. So that was Fly As Me. Next, we have After Last Night with Thundercat and Bootsy Collins. Now, to be fair, Bootsy Collins has influence throughout the album, from what I understand. Like, he had a huge role in the intro, which I don't know why he's not, cited in the title of the song. And his voice was also featured in Smoking Out the Window. So it's interesting to see Bootsy Collins' name feature in this song and not the others, which indicates that he's going to have a much bigger role in the song. And Thundercat, that's going to be interesting because I don't know Thundercat that well, but of the few songs that I do know of his, it fits the vibe of Silk Sonic like perfectly. Like Fly As Me just now could have easily been produced by Thundercat, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, let's hear this song. Ooh, that harmony. Bootsy Collins is just there. Ooh, that sounded really good. Ooh. I like the vroom building up. Is this a key change? They should say Sonic Sing. The amount of harmonies on this is really doing it well. Oh, those drums. Oh, that sounds really good. Wow. That was definitely one of the more intimate songs on this album. With the bow 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 kind of sound, and like the slow verses with every line ending with a long stretched out harmony, which sounded very, very nice. And Thundercat fits very well in the song. In the chorus, like the chorus just rolls out perfectly with him. And so far it's just showing the diversity in the type of music that they can pull off. Diversity not in the sense of like the eras of music that they tried to pull off, because so far, it's all like 60s/70s music, but rather the different genres that existed within that era. Like for example, this is way different from Fly As Me or Leave the Door Open, but it was still pulled off very authentically. And just within the song, with the characters being played, the other background vocalists, the build up at the end of the chorus also gave you like a whoosh of what's about to happen. And yeah, it was an overall good song, but I must admit, so far, my least favorite of the bunch, but still very good. And also quickly, it's pretty interesting to point out that Anderson Paak, I think, if I remember correctly, didn't play as big of a role in this song in terms of vocals. I heard more Bruno Mars and Bootsy Collins, so it's starting to balance itself out nicely. Okay, next we have Smoking Out the Window. I have heard the song, you can check out my reaction there, and I'm still gonna hear it again because I love this song and I've been having it on repeat for the past week. So let's check it out.
Wait a minute, this love started off
Bootsy Collins.
so sweet, but now she got me
smoking out the window. You know I thought that girl belonged to only me, but I was wrong, 'cause she belonged to everybody. Ooh,
just say, baby, why you doing this? Why you
doing this to me, girl? Smoking out the window of the benzo. I love when Bruno Mars sings this song. To everybody. Ooh. I love this song. I really love the song. It sounded live. Like, you know how in many cases, many songs have, you know, the studio version of the song and then the live version. Whereas the live version will have many instrumental specialties to it, such as maybe a bar that's silent or a part where the drums go bum, 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 bum. I don't know if my message is like coming across well, but this song sounded like the live version of a studio version of a song. Just in the complexity of the instrumentation. It's not just something playing on loop again and again. I really, really, really like that song. The harmonies, the comedy, and the lyrics, they just work together so well. And the music video to this was funny as well. Something I found out about Smoking Out the Window is that apparently this is the first song that they worked on as a duo while on tour at the 24 Karat Magic World Tour. So that song was basically the start of Silk Sonic, before they even probably came up with the brand Silk Sonic. Oh, and did I mention the chorus? The chorus was probably the best part of this entire song. Bruno's vocals on them was magnifique. And the multiple times he went falsetto, also very nice. Yeah, overall banger. I might even like this song more than Leave the Door Open. So far they're kind of head to head to me. But yeah, it's time to move on. The next song is called Put On a Smile, which does not fit anything that's been on this album so far. It sounds like a wholesome song, just based on the title. Like, just based on the title alone, I would guess that it's a song similar to Count on Me. You can count on me. You know, Put On a Smile. That sounds similar. It's crazy that Bruno Mars made the song Count on Me, because it's such a wholesome tune and it doesn't fit his current brand at all. Like, ever since 24 Karat Magic. Same with like Just the Way You Are. They're like so cheesy and like nice and wholesome. And now Bruno Mars's brand is something else. And one thing's for sure is that if this song is like Count on Me, it doesn't fit Anderson Paak's brand at all. I can't imagine Anderson Paak singing a song like Count on Me unironically. If anything, it has to be ironic. But that's just assuming that it sounds like that. But yeah, let's have a listen to it.
Oh, look here, fella. Take it from
Orchestra.
your Uncle Boots. Ain't no shame.
Oh. Okay, this is... I did not expect this to be a sad song.
I could pretend when I'm out with my friends I ain't thinking about you.
Can I just say how well this nails this genre? I like the way they send it back and forth to each other. Wow, the mood changed a bit. Wow, it went back to sad. I love the emotion of it. I like how the beat picks up here and how the drums build up here. Put on a smile. Ooh, the drums are really picking up. Put on a smile. Wow. Those vocals are. Wow, it's really building up. I love how the mood changes up. Wow. So that is this album's, I assume, lead ballad, unless it ends with a ballad as well. But wow, they pulled that genre off really well. The mellow guitars in the beginning sounded like sad rock. Like, it sounded like a lot of music that I have heard that are of that era. It fits in perfectly into that collection. But it doesn't deviate from the theme of the rest of the album, because you still hear those like the keyboards, the pianos, the drums, heavy drums at the end, or not at the end, but like in the chorus or in the pre-chorus, because that's where the mood picks up, rises, especially when the drums start going really fast, and then all of a sudden it dips back into the sad mood that it started with, even at the end. Like, it gives you a sense of hopelessness at the end of the chorus. Not gonna lie, I did not know how they were gonna pull off a ballad at all, like I said earlier. Especially with Anderson Paak, like the character that he is, ballads just don't really work. Like, he has had some sort of ballads, like one that I do like is his song called, what was it called? Yeah, it was called Celebrate. Celebrate was kind of a ballad. That was a good song. But with Anderson Paak's character lately, especially throughout this album, it was very hard to see how he was gonna pull off a ballad. Because, you know, we've heard Bruno Mars do ballads all the time, like really hard-hitting ballads, like When I Was Your Man or Too Good to Say Goodbye, which, by the way, is a song that I think is super underrated. Ain't nobody gonna love me like the way you do, which is a song that would have fit perfectly in this album. But yeah, all I have to say is that was nothing like Count on Me at all, which I'm glad. But yeah, that was unexpected, like some of the other songs on this album. So next up we have 777 or 777. No clue if that's referring to the Boeing 777, but we'll see. That's an interesting texture to an instrument. Oh yeah, it is. I hear the plane in the background.
Blow the dice for me.
Oh.
Put your pretty asses together, blow it real nice for me.
Wow. I love that. I love the horns.
I'm about to buy Las Vegas after this road. Come on, 777. Let's go.
I love how that previous part was just drums. And I love the horns in this. I love the focus on the drums. Oh, the keys. Oh, the horns. Mic Jack. Wow, another Michael Jackson reference. Gotcha. I wonder if that was a reference to the Jackson 5. Oh, okay. It's not only referring to the plane or at all, but it's referring to gambling. Whoa. Okay, that was intense. That was very intense from the get-go. The drums were very strong, very loud, and very Anderson Paak-esque. But what's funny is that in the beginning, I was thinking of how Anderson Paak this sounds, if that makes sense. And then I realized this also sounds a lot like Bruno Mars' work on Mark Ronson's album, the one that Uptown Funk was in. What was it called? I think it had the word Uptown in it. Uptown Special. This song would fit perfectly into Mark Ronson's Uptown Special, which Bruno Mars did work on a lot in. And I'm not even referring to Uptown Funk. I'm referring to, I think the song was Feel Right featuring Mystical. Seems like the only other song I saved on this album. But this song sounds just like Feel Right featuring Mystical in terms of the instrumentation. Like, it had the same style. The difference being that 777 was more dynamic in his vocals. Like, each line was sung differently in a different style and had different mastering to it, like the effects, the echoes, and the filtering and all that. It was just so, intense. Like, it felt like you were going somewhere. And this song also sounded a lot like another song that Bruno Mars was involved in called Blow, which Bruno Mars produced. Another very intense song by Ed Sheeran and Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars with strong drums, a very rock and roll vibe, even though 777 was less rock and roll, but it had a similar like singing style, and it was also just as intense. But yeah, it had you going like all different places all at the same time. So that was 777. Pretty nice. Next up, Skate. This is another song that I have heard before, and you can check out my video on it here, but let's have a listen to it. In a room full of dimes, you would be $100.
You do, ooh, it's like you do it for us.
I'm tryna flow, I'm tryna glide. Skate,
Bear in the wind,
and your skin glistening. I'm tryna flow, I'm tryna glide. I like the vibe change in this. I love the vibe that this part pulls off. Stay. I wanna get to know ya. This tune is so easily danceable. That's such a good song. Like all of these. And having heard most of the album at this point, I'm starting to appreciate Skate more as a song, mainly because of all the songs on this album, Skate feels like the most traditionally structured song so far, even though it itself has its own tidbits. Like I'm not sure if there was a key change in the middle, but aside from that, the verse melody is maintained except for that one part in the second verse where he goes, Superstar is where you know, the melodies more or less stay the same in each chorus and verse. It followed a more steady rhythm, which I appreciate now more than before, because all the other songs so far felt like they were all over the place, you know, in a good way, in an unexpected, in your face kind of way. Whereas this song is more, you know what to expect, and it's not so in your face. It's also very groovy, very danceable, which I like. And you know, the intro melody, the I don't know exactly how to sing it, but you know, the orchestra sounds. Again, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say this, but straight out of the 70s. How do you even pull that off these days without making it sound not authentic? That sound is super authentic and not ripped off. Also the I definitely appreciate this song more now than I did before in the whole context of this album. So yeah, that was Skate. Now last and hopefully not least, Blast Off. I don't know if this is gonna be a ballad or what. It could be from the title, Blast Off. I don't know, maybe. Or maybe they're gonna close the album with a bang. We'll just have to see. But last song, please do not disappoint. Oh. I love this part. Oh, guitar song. I love. There's so much happening right now. Oh my god. The guitar sounds so good. I wish it was louder, honestly. Ooh, breakdown. It feels like you're in space right now. Wow, I just noticed that they're raising the key each time he says, "Can we take it higher?" That's pretty cool.
All the way from the stratosphere, sending love from up above. Happy trails, Baba.
I thought I was gonna say Sonika then. Happy trails, Baba. Wait, what did you say? Happy trails, Baba? Wait, what? Happy trails, Baba? What does that mean? That was a very interesting, I would call it experimental song. Not gonna lie, throughout the first verse I wasn't like the biggest fan. Like just after everything we've heard, it started off kind of underwhelming. But then the chorus came in, and then the way that Anderson pulled off that chorus with the, I guess you'd call it falsetto, it sounded really nice. And then I feel like it's the outro of this entire song that really pulled it in for me, where they finally blasted off into space and they sounded like they were in space. It really created an atmosphere around you with the muffled vocals in the beginning, feeling like you're like exploring the space around you. And then what's cool was that they were singing, and then each time Bruno said, "Can we take it higher?" they actually brought the key higher to make you feel more elevated or more pressured into, you know, going up further. And I found that really cool. And with Bootsy Collins both starting the album and finishing it was a nice wrap to the whole project. Though the "see you later, Baba" or whatever he said then was kind of weird, but pretty funny. It's a nice touch. But yeah, Blast Off, that was a cool, interesting track. And that concludes an evening with Silk Sonic. My overall thoughts on this album is that it clearly represented a certain sound, a specific sound. Like Anderson does this a lot with his music, where his albums usually have a consistent sound throughout. which you can tell by the signature drum sound that he gives off. But at least with Bruno Mars, it's usually very mixed. Like his first album, Doo-Wops. It had things like Count on Me, next to Lazy Song, next to Just the Way You Are, next to The Other Side, which are like all very different. And then his next album, Unorthodox Jukebox, also had a variety of different sounds, where you hear songs such as Locked Out of Heaven in the same album as songs such as, what was that song where he goes, Money, money, money makes you smile. Money, money, money makes you smile. Very different sounds in the same album, next to When I Was Your Man. And then with 24 Karat, it was just the same, except that you had a more retro feel with 24 Karat Magic, but it was still a variety of different genres. Like you'd have 24 Karat Magic next to Too Good to Say Goodbye, next to Finesse, you know? They all sound different. Whereas this had a very, very consistent sound throughout. It had those distinct drums that Anderson Paak usually plays. But aside from that, the most standout-ish song is probably either Fly As Me or Put On A Smile. But other than that, they sound appropriately together in this group of songs. And I really like this album. In terms of the songs I like the most and the songs I like the least, I think I like the OGs. Leave the Door Open, Smoking Out the Window, and I think I would add Put On A Smile. That was such an interesting song. I love that song. And the songs I like the least, I would say probably After Last Night. Just cause as cool as that song did sound, it wasn't my usual vibe. It's like kind of too slow for me, too intimate. But yeah, so let's do a save or no save to see which songs I would save off of this album. So, first track, Silk Sonic intro, save. It's a nice opening to the album, and on its own, it works nicely as its own track because, you know, it's a minute long, and when it does come on in the queue, I usually don't skip it. Next, Leave the Door Open, easy save. I love that song. That song was a banger from the beginning. And yes, Fly As Me, save. That was very interesting with the guitar, that very Mater-y sound, and very funny in the way the lyrics were formed. After Last Night, I think it's a good song, but I think I'll have to pass because I kind of know that it's a song that I would usually skip, so I'm probably gonna pass on saving that. Smoking Out the Window, save. Easily one of my favorites of the album. Put On A Smile, another save. Same thing, another favorite of the album. 777, intense, very intense song, so save. Skate, very nice, very groovy, and very traditionally structured. Save. Blast Off, save. I quite liked how it wrapped off the album, and I really like the ending part, so I can't let go of that. And that was An Evening with Silk Sonic. If you enjoyed, please like, and yeah, this channel is really a place for me to post whatever I want. I don't really have like staple content on it. Like I do a lot of reacts, a lot of food reviews, but please like it. I would very much appreciate it, and yeah, thank you.